Yeah, here we go, huh?
All right, we are good to go. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Erik, Rico, CEO of Bat Club USA. Here, my buddy Shaun Larkin from Adapt and Los Angeles Dodgers, and we're excited to get our Facebook Live session going here today, talking about the process. So we're going to give just a few minutes here, but as you come in, we'll like to give you a nice little greeting. Make sure you say hi, and for those of you that leave a comment today, ask questions. We're going to have a nice little giveaway for you, and we'll announce the winners, or maybe everybody who puts a good comment and a good question will get themselves a nice little offer, cleats, batting gloves, some of that. We'll figure it out for you. So we'll give it a few minutes here before we get started. Shaun, how's your day going, bud?
Going great. We're chugging along here in spring training. Nice Arizona. The weather's been cool. But yeah, we're full swing. Just about all our players are here. All our staff is here now. We're kicking it around, 7,500 players here, and for another 10 days before our full camp arrives, and we'll be well on our way. But yeah, we're 10, 12 days into this thing now and getting ready.
Awesome, man. That's awesome, man. You're telling me earlier it's a little cool there in the desert, huh?
You're taking advantage of it. It's cool in the morning. It's nice and brisk. It's that offshore breeze in here in Arizona, right?
Yeah. Coming right off the Pacific.
Yeah, right. It's been chilly, but it won't be long before it warms up and our sweatshirts come off, and here we go. Sunblock's on.
For sure, man. For sure. I mean, look, down here, we got a cold front coming through. It might be in the 40s sometime this weekend. We all might die. Like, that'll be in Florida.
What are you gonna do with yourself? Do you even have a sweatshirt?
I had to get my parka out, and dude, it'll be, it'll be tough. I might even have to turn the heat on in the house. Who knows?
That's great.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're ready to go though. We're prepared for it. We had 3 days of cold before, so we at least had a prep.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in December we had some cold.
Yeah, that's funny. You guys are spoiled there.
Just a little bit, my friend. Just a little bit, So Kelly Dominguez, thanks for joining us. Tanner Glasson, good to see you again. So for those of you that are just joining us, my name is Erik Rico, CEO of Bat Club USA. I have Shaun Larkin from Adapt and the Los Angeles Dodgers, and today we are going to be talking about the process. So we'll give it another minute for just as people come in. Make sure you get a chance to comment, ask us any questions after we go through our format. We'll want to be able to get to yours, and if we don't get to them today, we'll make sure to get to them in our next session. These Facebook Live sessions are typically going to be in our subscriber group. So if you are a Bat Club USA subscriber, please go to our private Bat Club USA subscriber group, put in your request with your email address. We can give you access, so you'll be able to get content like this on a regular basis. So Shaun, what else is going on, man? Family doing well?
I tell you what, this time of year, I'll get to the complex around 5:30, and I don't leave here till around 6:30 or so. So there's not much going on outside this complex this time of year. Yeah, the family, Denise and the kids are coming in on Saturday, so about 2 or 3 days now. So I'll have the whole crew with me. At least get to see them midday, and see my wife in the morning at night, which is gonna be great. And then have the kids run around here. They love going to the fields and seeing the guys. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. They'll be here for about 3 weeks, which it breaks up spring training for us really nicely. So, but other than that, I tell you, this time of year, it's full swing. We're on, man, getting guys ready for the season, and that's all my time is doing. Is consumed with that for the most part, and then getting us up and running with Adapt and Bat Club content and pushing it. So that's all. I'm boring this time of year.
Yeah, it'd be boring doing baseball all the time.
Yeah.
Oh man. Hey, Adrian Torres, thanks for joining us. Appreciate the comment. Glad you got the bat. That's awesome. Hope there are some bombs. Make sure to show us the video with any frozen ropes he's smoking. Yeah. So Shaun, let's go ahead and get started, man. So we're gonna talk about the process. Like, that's a term that's come on recently over the past few years. I mean, the first time I can remember hearing it is talking about the Sixers. Yeah, even though it's a completely different sport, like they're talking about like, oh, how are we going to build this thing, right? Like, okay, we're at the bottom. How we're going to build this thing up? We're going to follow the process, right? So was my first exposure to it. But for you, how do you define the process?
Yeah, like you said, it's become a popular phrase. Really, the process is just, again, like any other motivational story you hear. It's about the journey, not the end point always, and the things that you learn along the way, and how you get better, and how you actually get to that final destination, if there even is one. Sometimes the final destination really is the process itself, but really we're just talking about the steps that you take and the things that happen along the way, the ups and the downs and the struggles and successes, and all those learning moments are really what matters the most in becoming what you want to ultimately become, the best version of yourself. And whether it's in sports, just life in general, in school, whatever it may be, really when we talk about the process, and it really just keeps us focused on the task at hand in the moment and not getting too far ahead of ourselves. So the process, when we talk about that, and generally speaking, is just a way to keep us grounded, keep what's in front of us important, making things that matter before they matter, and not getting too far ahead of ourselves and getting wrapped up with the end goal, when what we need to be focused on right now is just right now and the process. And that's how I would define it. Just the things along the way that are actually more important than where you're trying to get to. That's where the learning happens. That's where the growing happens. And that's when we really refine our identities and whatever we're trying to do. And that's why it's so important. One of the reasons we'll talk about it tonight.
For sure, man. When I think of the process, the first thing that pops into mind is, and we've talked about this in some of our other sessions, understanding our mission. So the process is the steps that's taking us towards our mission. So it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, the BP I took before the game is the process before my first at bat. It's understanding that each at bat is the next step in the process, right? So if I'm looking to build, right, and get to my mission might be to be a big leaguer, but really, what my mission is I need to learn how to handle adversity. I need to be able to take things from the game of baseball that are going to apply to all facets of life. So now every step, every action I have is an opportunity to get better, to learn, to understand that was a step in my process of improving, and take advantage of that. So that's the way I see the process, man. I mean, it's such an important thing, and we forget about it because we want to live in the now, right? Like, I want the results right now. My kid could smoke a ball to the left fielder and he gets out, and that might be the third out of the tournament. If you're thinking about the process, that's a quality at bat, man. Right? Of
course.
So
right. Yeah, you're right on. That's so many good points right there, man. And you said the magic word, right? Part of this whole thing is our mission, and you hit on that perfectly. That was great.
So with our format, everybody, Jordy, thanks for joining us. So we hit up one question for the parents, one question for the coaches, one question for the players. So Shaun, let's start with the parents. How can parents be an active participant in the process?
Yeah, and that's a great question, because really the parents are really the drivers of this whole thing, especially when we're talking about youth players along the way. And really, I mean, we can't negate the importance of results, right? We're aware of results and we're aware of those things, but we got to be process driven. And one of the ways that the parents can do this, whether it's a win or a loss, a good game or a bad game, is really understanding the communication habits that they have with their players or their kids. One of the first things we can do is this recognizing is, did you have fun? Did you have fun today playing the sport? And that's one key we can go to as a parent. It's keep really reminding ourselves that, again, the mission in sight. Why did I even sign my kid up to play? To have fun, enjoy teammates, to learn some things. So not forgetting that no matter the situation, hey, did you have fun today in this game, this tournament? So that's one thing. Another one is, again, getting back to what's your plan to get better? You got a bad game, hey Johnny, you got a tough game today, huh, buddy? Yeah. So what's your plan? What do you think we should do this next week to get better? Keeping, again, the focus on the process and not getting wrapped up in the result. Yes, you had a tough game today. You struck out a couple times. That's part of the game, buddy. So what's the plan? Let's get on this thing. Let's get back on the horse. And what's the plan this week? How can I help you? What lessons we want to sign up with? Whatever it may be, is go watch a video of the game. What's the plan coming up? And then flip side, on good game. Hey, buddy, great game today. what's the plan? How are we going to make sure this continues to happen? Constantly focusing on the process so we don't get wrapped up with just being successful and getting stuck to the middle and getting complacent. So those are two things. Are you having fun? And hey, what's our plan? And another good one, a third step possibly, just to make sure we're part of the process and keeping it oriented, is reminding our players on the mindset. Hey, what was your mindset today? If you saw your son or daughter out there kicking dirt around with their head down, asking questions like, hey, tough game today, huh? Yeah, it was. Okay. Do you think keeping your head down or some of the things you were telling yourself, was that helpful or not helpful? Probably not helpful. Okay. So what are some things that we can do next time?
Right.
Maybe it's self-talk. Maybe it's just going to our breathing patterns. Maybe just picking up a cue of some sort. Again, another way to help aid in the focusing on the process and getting it away from the results. Yes, we acknowledge them. Yes, you had a tough game. Yes, you had a great game. But now let's get back to the process conversation. Mindset. Were you able to score first? Were you able to answer back? Were you able to get more? All the things that we talk about in our smarts that our people are familiar with. So those are three things that a parent specifically can do to help drive process and keeping that the forefront of all the conversations. Again, not negating the importance of understanding results. Winning and losing does matter. How you go about, how are you supposed to respond to something if you don't acknowledge 0 for 4 with a couple of punch outs or some bad at bats or a good outing? So some good things there. Did you have fun? What's the plan coming up? Again, process oriented. And then what was your mindset across the board?
I love that question. Just asking him, hey, what's the plan? What's the plan? Because it's not us spoon feeding them the answers, right? Like at 6, 8, 9 years old, like let's just go out and have a good time. Be a kid, get dirty, do all that fun stuff. But as they get older, right? Like especially in the athletic career where a lot of parents, they don't have our pedigree when it comes to baseball, right? So it's just trying to facilitate that conversation with their kids and let their kids solve it. Hey, what's the plan? Yeah, you went 0 for 4 with 2 punch outs this week. What's the plan this week? Maybe it might be, Dad, I feel tired, right? Hey, we played 60 games in 6 months, right? It's like I just need a deep breath. I just need a break. Like that might be it. Or the plan might be, hey, you know what? I need to go hit with Coach Shaun, Coach Erik twice this week because last time I did it, I really felt good, got me in the right mindset. My swing felt good, got me going in the right direction. But let them figure it out, right? As your kids get older, you're going to be more of a consultant in it, right?
Right.
Because you can't drag them to baseball practice in high school. They don't like it. They don't like it, right?
Right.
But if you're helping them figure that stuff out, they're setting the plan and then they're seeing the success. That's awesome, right? Like,
absolutely. That's well said. Yeah.
You've got
just as you're talking through that too, just reminds me like it just includes them in the process. It's not us driving their process. All of a sudden we give them some ownership, just like you were saying. As part of their own career, a part of their own path. And the sooner we're allowing them to make decisions and handle some of these things for the good and the bad, the stronger they'll be down the road. So the stuff that you just pointed out is, right on, and involving them in the process of the process, right? Is really the key that a parent can really play a key role. So, yeah, that's good.
I like that. Bill Murphy, thanks for joining us. Yes, you definitely got to put in the work and trust the process. I've seen those videos of McDermott putting in big work. So, Shaun, Bill's been a longtime member with us and glad he can join us today.
Awesome. Thanks, Bill.
So the next one, coaches. So what's the coach's role and the game day part of the process?
Yeah, this is a great one. Again, identifying, yes, there is importance and recognizing the result, win-loss, players having a bad games, or whatever it is. But a couple of things here to think about, again, like kind of with the parents, 3 things maybe to think about. You want to know the individual player performance. But again, the question you ask yourself as a coach to make sure we're process oriented is, where do we go from here? Tough game, tough loss, tough tournament. Where do we go from here? Let's get back to the process again. Again, very similar to the parents. How is this going to drive my practice setting? What does my team need to work on? What does my player need to work on? What do we need to do to get better in the areas that we struggled in today? Making sure that if a player struggles, goes 0 for 3, or doesn't have a very good game, it's not take him out of the lineup or her out of the lineup, he or she doesn't get to play next time. We got to make sure we identify that was a tough game for this person. We'll identify, individualize a practice setting for them or a group of players like that, and then make sure we get them in the game next time,
right?
To at least, get back on the horse and get after it again. I think sometimes coaches fall in the traps. Erik's not performing very well. He's not going to play in a 13U tournament. Well, now you're just focused on the results and you're not being process driven. That's really the main goal for our players. Every player's process is different. How they mature is different.
Yeah.
And the trajectory it's not linear. So from the coach's standpoint, being very aware of the process will help you, one, drive practice settings. What are we learning from the game? What's the game telling us? So I can drive my practices for my team and for the individual player. And then what's needed? What do we need to do to get better? And just having a plan for, again, the step-by-step process, identifying what my team needs, my player needs, and not getting so wrapped up with the result in terms of decision-making, who plays, who doesn't play. I'm going to cut this player to that player. When you're a process-oriented coach, you recognize opportunities to get better. And again, pushing that message to our players also. Again, checking with mindset, keeping them motivated, keeping them confident in everything we can do, rather than the knee-jerk reaction to a loss or a win, and I'm going to play all the same players again.
Yeah.
That may not be the best route, potentially. But it's, again, a couple things there to think about as a coach to make sure we are if we're preaching process, we got to follow it up. One of the pitfalls I've seen, especially at the highest levels, our professional college, coaches will preach process in practice and then praise results and reinforce results in the game. Trap.
Right.
Process, be a good teammate, and all of a sudden it's individualized and it's results-based. Like making sure our language, our behaviors, and what we're doing reinforce process in practice, process in the game. It's constantly going back to the long game for some of these players. The moment matters, and all the moment's going to do is educate us on where we need to get better or what we need to maintain. And that's what the games are, especially the youth level, are doing for us. These are practice games for the long-term goal, wherever it's going to be. And
right.
Every opportunity we have to learn what we're doing really, really well, and where maybe I need to be challenged a little bit more in a practice setting, or I'm a little deficient. I'm not getting to the fastball right now. I'm not getting my fastball as a pitcher to my arm side, or I don't have a very good feel for a breaking pitch. As an infielder, I'm having a hard time going to my right. As an outfielder, I'm having a hard time going back to my left. And I keep getting beat in the game with this. So as a coach, it's not take that guy and move to a different position. It's not take that not pitch that player in big games. It's identifying it, working on these things in the practice setting, and throwing them right back in the fire. That's their process. That's their struggle time to get better. And nothing is more a confidence booster as a player than a coach putting them right back in. And I got you. We're going to keep working at this. Not the end of the world, and here we go. So if we're going to preach process, we got to follow it up with our behaviors, actions, and plans, with understanding, results. Results, we know they're there. We're aware, but we're process-driven on the follow-up.
Dude, I mean, you hit it right on the head when you were talking about all of the aspects also, right? That it's not just the results, but what does my team really need? Is it the mental approach? Are we doing the fundamentals? What are the things that we need to reinforce, right? So like I'm thinking about it just personally with my team, my 11U team the other day. They played terrible. I mean, basic things, base running, things like that. They're not doing well, but we still won, right? So after the game, our discussion is, gentlemen, that's awesome. We won. That's fantastic. You can enjoy this for about 5 minutes, but I want you to understand that you guys made a lot of fundamental mistakes. So now as we progress and move to the next practice, guess what we're going to work on?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we may have an hour and a half base running practice, because you know what? We struggled with it. That's something that for them, understanding and going back to the fundamentals, right? And understanding that for our process, we have to get that right because we're an 11U team, right? Like we're not a high school team. Like these are things that, hey, we have to come back, we have to get it right. We're going to do it. Then we're going to progress to the next thing. We're going to constantly test on those. We get it right. Hey, let's keep taking that step forward because we know there's an end goal in mind. So for the coaches, wins and losses are fun, right? I mean, wins are, I like winning better than losing, right?
right.
Durham.
Right.
But we have to understand that as coaches, we're pushing them towards an end goal, and we want them to have the best foundation possible to put them in a position when they're older to win and succeed.
Man, nailed it. That was fire, man. That's perfect. Yeah.
So for those of you joining us, my name is Erik Rico, CEO of Bat Club USA. I have my buddy Shaun Larkin from Adapt and the Los Angeles Dodgers joining us. So Shaun is providing great content for us. If you are a Bat Club USA member and you have not done this yet, please make sure you join our Bat Club USA subscriber group to get additional content and really next level stuff from Shaun, myself, and any other guests that will be joining us. That'll be specific for our Bat Club USA members. So Shaun, been through the parents, we've been through the coaches. Okay, for the players, what should my process look like?
Yeah, this is a really, really good one because this is what it's about, right? It's about the players playing the game.
Yep.
It's funny. The military has this thing called AARs, after action reviews, and they'll go in right after a mission or a practice setting, and they'll go right in right after and identify the good, the bad, the ugly. What did we do really well? What did we not do very good? And what was really, really bad? And that's what makes them better immediately after the game or their setting, because it's fresh and sometimes it's hard to think about, but hey, they get after it. So taking that type of idea for players, whether you're 0 for 3 or 3 for 3, whatever it may be, being able to go right after the game as soon as you possibly can and settle down, whether you're excited or disappointed, and list these things out. What was the good? What was the bad? What was the ugly? What did I learn today from my at-bats? Was I 3 for 3 with a couple of homers and a double? What pitches did I swing at? What was I feeling? What was my mindset? What was my process on deck? What pitches was I looking for? What was my plan? Did I execute that plan? Did I execute situational hitting? What did that look like? What did that feel like and taste like? If I was 0 for 3, what pitches did I swing at? What was my plan? All the same, what was my plan and approach? All these things. What did I learn today from my performance, from my game? Maybe it was on a base running. Maybe it was on defense. What did I learn? What was good? Was I on defense? Was my pre-pitch on time? Was I on the right spots in cutoffs and relays? Did I take the right first step? Did I throw to the right bases? As a pitcher, did I throw the right pitch in the right situation? Was my breaking ball good? Was my fastball? Whatever these things are, what was good? What was bad? What did I learn today, regardless of the outcome? Yeah, if we have a bad game, we're all disappointed. We want to compete at a high level. We put the time in. You want to see it come out in the field. But again, we're talking about process. And for a player, step number one, what did I learn from the day, regardless of how good or quote unquote bad it was? Where do I need to get better? Again, what's that process look like? What's my plan? Here's the good. I identified the good, bad, the ugly. Okay, great. What's the plan? This is similar to the parents. Hopefully now our players can drive this process. Tomorrow, I need to do this. Today's game, I was tired. I was dehydrated, X, Y, and Z. Maybe it is. I just need to get more rest. Making sure I need to eat the right foods, drink more water. I need to get stronger. All these types of things, making things matter again before they matter down the road.
Yeah.
And using the game as fuel for our process for my plan moving forward. Those are big ones. And then, yeah, this is what's next. You know, what was I paying attention to my mission? What was my mindset? All these different skills, that is being process driven. Again, being aware of the results. I'm aware of these. What am I going to learn from them after action review, post game, post tournament, whenever that may be? And this is something that's learned. It's a skill to be able to slow down after a game, a couple games. You know, maybe your coach is upset. You get blown up by your coach. Get in the car with the parents. Who knows how that conversation goes? But it's a skill to start learning, objectively looking at yourself and being, you know, critical sometimes. I'm not very good in this area. It's okay. My process says I have time and I'm going to learn from these things. Here's one of those times where it was more difficult learning experience as opposed to successful learning experience.
Right.
And it takes time. And again, that's where the parents and coaches do come into play of helping mold this type of framework. But players, as we go through this, every opportunity in a game situation, whether it's a quote unquote success or failure, is an opportunity to learn where you are currently, and then able to put a plan for where you want to go and the steps that go from there. So it's a lot of checking points here that will keep you focused on the process, and you're not getting sucked down by one game, by two games. You know, like, I'm terrible. No, you just had a bad game today in the box, but you actually had a really good game, possibly with your at-bat process. I swung at good pitches.
Mm-hmm.
I threw good pitches. I made good plays. So those are some ways as players to look through these things. And again, not negating your strengths. Where do I need to make sure I maintain? Man, I've been working really hard in this, this particular swing mechanic or this pitching mechanic. Heck, it worked today really, really well. I need to make sure I stay on top of that. Maybe my sleeping habits were really good. The social groups I'm hanging out with, you know what? They're a positive influence on me. I need to make sure I keep these friends around. All these things on the field and off the field. Identifying what's good, what's bad, what we need to cut out, what we need to add, will keep you on the process of this whole thing. Those are some things to think about as a player.
I love what you just said, identifying what I got to keep and what I got to cut out. Right? Like, right. A lot of times, especially as players get older, like, there are different angles they're trying to go, man. There are different stressors and different things that start to present themselves,
Mm-hmm.
that you didn't have when you were 10, 11, that now you're 15, 16, 17, 18, and life is starting to get more complicated, man. Like, you're still a kid, technically, right? Like,
right.
Life should still be fun. The game should still
right.
be fun, but there are other things coming on, man, and really understanding, hey, what do I need? What do I not need? And starting to be able to separate that for the players, and understanding their process is a big thing. But then also from the player's perspective, and the sooner you figure this out, and this can go back to parents and coaches, understand your strengths.
Mm-hmm.
What am I good at? What is my game, right? If my game is blasting the ball over the fence, I need to make sure that if I see a belt high fastball, what am I doing with it? Right? How am I putting myself in the best position? If I get that belt high fastball, I'm going to pound it out of the park, right? Because that may be my strength. Someone else's strength, I may get that belt high fastball. I need to make sure that I smoke it in the gap. I need to make sure I let my legs get going. I smoke it in the gap, find myself on second base, and be ready to take third base when I have the opportunity. So understand your strengths, and then understand what are the things that are causing me to miss getting to my strengths. So, like, one of the things I've been working on with my 11-year-old, beautiful swing, love it. Not the strongest kid, but fast, smart, does a lot of things really well. It's pitch recognition. I mean, I had the same problem when I was hitting the ball in. It just wasn't my thing. I need something middle away that I could pound in the gap, or if it's down the middle, get a little ahead and drive it, right? So pitch recognition. So we've been working on that. Hey, your strength is the ball middle away. Let's pound that ball. Let's identify it. And I'm just throwing balls. And if it's in for now, let's leave it, right? We haven't worked on that. We're going to pound that ball middle away. Down the middle, you're going to swing? Yes. Ball away? Yes. Ball in? No. Not even swinging a bat, but we're focusing on the process and helping him identify the right pitch to be able to work on his strength at the plate, which is that ball middle away. So identifying your strengths is a big thing. Your weaknesses are important. And I definitely want your feedback on this, Shaun. Your weaknesses are important, but this is the way I see it. Taking your weakness from an F to a D, whatever, man. Like, let's get those strengths from an A to an A plus, right?
Right,
there's no sense of leaving that strength at an A and getting that weakness to a D, right? When we can really take that strength to the next level and really hone that skill. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, speaking from our side of it, right? So at the major league level, and the difference between a major leaguer and a minor leaguer really isn't how far they hit the ball, how hard they throw it. It's just consistency at what they do really, really good. Do the ordinary, extraordinary.
Yeah.
Over and over and over. So dominating the simple things. That's what really you do good over and over and over and over again, you become great. If you do good, focus on the bad, it's like average, not very good still. It's like, you're kind of back and forth. All of a sudden, you focus so much on your weakness, your strength actually becomes not very good anymore too. I was case in point. the ball was middle into me. It got blasted for a long time in my career. So I get to professional baseball, start moving up, and they start throwing me away. I didn't really have an answer for it. So instead of just making sure I just stuck to my process better and just continue to be a good pull hitter, I was just continually told, you got to hit the ball the other way, hit the ball the other way. So all my energy and focus became hit the ball the other way, hit the ball the other way. And all of a sudden, my power numbers started going down to the pull side. So I just lost the feel for or thought process or mentality or edge on, I'm going to take you deep if you throw it in this area. It became, I need to hit the ball that side. And it just started steering balls over the place. It just wasn't the same type of hitter because I was so wrapped up and consumed with something I wasn't very good at. Instead of just dominating what I really, really was,
right?
Just ride that thing out and see how long it was. Now, yeah, can you get marginally better in certain areas? No doubt. And there's time and a place for all of that. But just not getting so wrapped up with what you can't do. If you're really, really good at something, dominate it and ride that thing out. Just over time, let that space, maybe the strike zone expand, right? We have heat maps here, and it's like, hey, if you have a really small red zone, okay, great. Let's get this little by little through mechanical changes, strength, whatever it may be, that'll expand over time based on learning yourself and understanding your body and understanding pitch selection. It'll expand, but we don't need to go jump from side to side so fast and try to cover everything in one day or 1 year, So again, along the process point, we overestimate sometimes what we can do in one day. We underestimate what we can do over the course of time.
Right.
And trying to fix everything today, what I'm not very good at today, you're not going to cover it. And by the way, you're missing an opportunity to continue to be better at maintaining what you're really good at already.
Right. Yeah. You know what? That's such a great point, though, that when we think about the process, like you don't fix hitting that ball away, in one BP session, right? Like that stuff doesn't happen. You don't make your number one tier thing exponentially better in one BP session.
Right.
I mean, it's consistently putting the work and then understanding it's going to be good days and bad days, man. Like, as long as you finish that week better than where you started, right? You might have had some good days and bad days, but you finish that week better than where you started. You're focusing on the process. You're doing the right thing.
Exactly. Right on, man.
So for those of you that have joined us, I'm Erik, Rico, CEO of Bat Club USA. I have my buddy Shaun Larkin from Adapt and the Los Angeles Dodgers with us. He's out in spring training out in Glendale, Arizona right now. So we'll leave it just a minute or so for questions here. But I wanted to, if you have questions, please go ahead and put those on the comments. Shaun and I will address this. But Bill Murphy, I want to talk about your comment here really quick about having unqualified people coaching. It's an issue. It's an issue at times in the youth level because you know what? You got a volunteer coach, man. You kind of get what you pay for, right? Like the pedigrees like Shaun's aren't floating out there everywhere. But I will say this: you don't necessarily need to be a baseball expert, but you have to have someone who understands their shortcomings, right? Mm-hmm. And if you have a coach that may not have played at the highest level, but they understand, hey, this is where I need help, you've got yourself a good coach. You have a coach who everybody knows has shortcomings and swears that they're right all the time. That's the thing. It's never wrong. It might be time to search for a new organization. What are your thoughts on that, Shaun?
Yeah. you have the right coach when they have the player's best interest in mind. When wins and losses are not the driving force, when the mission of your coach is to help your players get better, to put them in situations to learn, regardless of if they know the best fielding mechanic or hitting mechanic, that'll all take care of itself.
Right.
You have an unqualified coach when they are chasing wins and losses, trophies and rings at 10, 11, 12 years old. That's the unqualified coach. I would take a coach for my kids who motivates them, puts them in the situations, allows them to learn, stresses, hey, go out and have a good time and fail, and that's okay. We're going to get better at this regardless. That's the qualified coach. The unqualified coach doesn't understand that, doesn't care about that, and is more driven by how many teams I can have and how many wins and losses I can hang in my facility. That's the unqualified coach. So that's my thoughts on that. Like unqualified, qualified, it's kind of subjective, especially given age levels. At the youth level, the travel ball circuit, to me, in my opinion, the qualified coach may be the one who's less knowledgeable about specific game stuff, but more engaged in understanding human behavior, how humans respond, understanding kids' emotion levels, understanding all these different variables that are happening in their lives at the particular time that's driving some of these things on the field. And that's, to me, is a qualified coach.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you, man. I mean, that human aspect is a big thing, man. You know, especially for the younger kids, because it's an additional mentor, man. Like, you know, and a lot of kids, baseball, softball, they don't get access to people, you know, have that one extra person that's going to push them, send them in the right direction, hold them accountable. You know, that doesn't happen for everybody, man. So you just never underestimate that impact. You know, you don't need to be a pro, but you have to have the player's best interest as a person and move from there, man. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And Billy said here, yeah, they're, you know, great organization. They winning, and when you're developing players and you're winning, it's always a great combination. You know, you got kids going on, get scholarships, getting drafted. That's fantastic. But as we all know, the numbers aren't very good in those two categories. So again, that stuff is awesome, and that's the mission, that's the goal, and that's part of the process of getting those opportunities. Great. There's going to be a handful of kids who don't get drafted, who don't get scholarships, who are going to have to go a different route, and it's still incumbent upon a coach, kind of the burden of a coach, to the players that always don't get developed and don't develop physically or don't go move on to higher levels of baseball or softball. They can then go on, though, and take some lessons that were taught by their coach and their travel ball teams to be a great student, to be a great teammate, to be a great down the road husband or wife or mentor to somebody else or coach down the road. And again, we're creating experiences, especially at the lowest levels. We are creating experiences to either help players just enjoy and love the game and have fun, to create an experience to get them exposed to college coaches and pro scouts. Great. But also it's a life experience of looking back when you were a kid, and we all look back to our childhood memories and remember the fun teams and the coaches that really meant the most to us. That's really what we're trying to do. So if you can find an organization with coaches that do that, you're winning.
For sure, man. I'm with you on that one. I mean, hitting drafts is few and far between, man. Right? Like, you know, it pyramids, right? The herd thins. You know, the higher up, and it's funny. I mean, you and I both saw that. Like, you think you're good, and then all of a sudden you're like, holy cow, this guy throws 97 miles an hour all the time. And it's sinking. And holy crap, I can't hit it.
Right.
Right?
Right. And it's happening too often that I'm not hitting it.
Right. Yeah, man. I went from hitting 350 and now all of a sudden I'm hitting 220. What the heck's going on, man? Like,
exactly.
There are more life lessons taken from that than anything, man. So
exactly.
Shaun, we're up at our time here, bud. You know, I always appreciate it. For those of you Bat Club USA members, again, when you have the opportunity, please make sure to go to our Bat Club USA subscriber page and put in your requests so we can get you in there. We'll be providing this content on a weekly basis, on a regular basis. A lot of stuff from Shaun, so we're looking forward to some of that stuff moving forward. So Shaun, thank you for the time, bud. Always appreciate it. For those of you that joined us, thank you for being with us, and we'll see y'all next week.
Absolutely. See you next week, buddies. Erik, see you guys later. Everyone will follow along. Great seeing you. See you next time.
Bye.